What is your why for doing this? We'll talk about that on this segment of the Gig Geezer. Now, the headline of this segment, the Gig Geezer, at least when you saw it on your timeline, was "I Can't Tell You Why." Yes, I know that's a song from the Eagles from their Long Run album back in 1979. It's a favorite album of mine, by the way. But I can't tell you why. What do I mean by that? I've heard people challenge others, asking them, what is your why for doing what you're doing? Why are you doing this? Why are you in delivery and transport? Why did you pursue the ownership and operation of a Sprinter/cargo van? Why did you pursue the ownership of a box truck? Why in the fuck are you doing this? If we just want to be real about it. If I were back in media right now, if I were back wearing a reporter's hat, going around with my MP3 recorder, my laptop, and my notepad, I know that it's likely that I would still be back in my element. Although I know that the game has changed immensely since I last was in it back in, the last time I did a story for even a magazine was like 2004. So I've been out of it for at least 20 years, at least in print media. 25 with respect to newspapers, if you still want to call them that. And if somebody would have asked me, why am I doing this? I could tell them that my why is I have had a passion for gathering information, reporting facts, informing and educating my readership or my public, and perhaps along the way entertaining them. That statement hasn't changed for decades. When people ask me what is it that I wanted to be when I grew up, 6th grade graduation, I said I wanted to be a sports reporter. And I went through every level possible of being a reporter, short of the destination places like your Washington Post, Houston Chronicles, New York Times, and the like. I I got up to the top 2% of the business. I didn't get into the top 1% of the business. So that would be my why. At least in that capacity. But in this capacity, delivery and transport, I can't tell you why. I really can't tell you why am I doing this, other than maybe, and I've said it many a times, there aren't many things out there that would pay me the money that I'm making, that I've made so far, doing it in this space, with the ownership and operation of a Sprinter/cargo van and a box truck, and for that matter, really this decade. It's not about customer service for me. And maybe, I'd be turning some folk off by sharing what I'm sharing. But it's not about customer service for me. It's not about putting smiles on people's faces. No. It's about making money. Because this is apparently what I should be doing at this stage in life. But what is your why? Why is it that you want to do it? And quite honestly, I don't think that whatever your why is, up to a certain extent, is a wrong answer. I really don't, man. And maybe because I just don't have that conviction with delivery and transport to be trying to impose upon any sense of piety of intentions. I'll put it like that. Again, when I was a reporter, because I wanted to inform and educate the public, I knew that there were certain ethics that were attached to it. I knew that there were certain responsibilities that you had in going about doing that business. And I think I was true to that cause during the time that I was in it. And given the fact that my doing YouTube channel, my doing a live stream, and even back 15 years ago or so when I had a podcast, there were certain ethics in a certain compass by which I've gone about doing things that really dates back to my days as a reporter. But when it comes to this, maybe it's a function of common sense. There's a certain amount of common sense involved with delivery and transport. You know that you should show up in a timely manner. You know that you should deliver things in a timely manner. You know that you want to be in communication with the brokers. You know that you want to be in communication with the brokers. At least while you have their freight and you're in the process of delivering it. You know that you need to maintain your vehicle so that it doesn't let you down under most circumstances. And maybe even what I'm describing could be wrong, but there's a certain amount of common sense I think that's involved with it. From the money standpoint, well, that's a different story. I mean, I think that there's a certain amount of cutthroat that we all have. I think there's a certain amount of, at least for those of us, I say those of us who actually are making money and not doing thirsty shit, we have a sense of how we should go about running our business enterprise in such a way that it is profitable. And I ain't talking about the fucking argument saying that if my cost per mile is 35 cents a mile and I happen to do something for 40 cents a mile, oh, I'm still winning. I'm still making a profit. No, man, you're not making a fucking profit. You're not. I mean, really and truly, you're not making a fucking profit. You are really. I know that there are businesses in which the profit margins are very thin. Believe it or not, like in the retail grocery stores, the profit margin, their profit margin is less than 5%. Those numbers haven't changed for 40 years that I've been aware of that. It used to be newspapers, their profit margin used to be 20 and 30%. Not anymore. Internet did that. So then you ask about brokers and all. I'm pretty sure that you got some that operate under some fat margins, but I don't even know that number. So I know that I've been talking for nearly 10 minutes, and I'll give you that line. If you like the content that's been provided in this segment of the Get Geezer or in any other segment, hit that subscribe button, give my content a thumbs up, share my content among others, and I definitely welcome the comments in the section below. But maybe the question does deserve to be asked of yourself sometimes. What is my why for doing this? Is it a matter of providing for myself, or perhaps for my family? I know that a lot of people say that. Or is it I'm not also in the process of providing for my family? I'm trying to set up something that could be passed on to them if they choose to pursue it. Or it could really be a true passion of yours. I know, for example, my father, he had his own trucking operation for like 25 years. He didn't start until he was into his 40s. And then before he turned 70, he sold his truck and got out of it. At least that's what I last understand. But he once told me that that had always been an interest of his since childhood, that he wanted to drive a truck. And so he did. Eventually he did that. I don't recall what all he hauled, but he had a truck. I guess he had a power unit, and then he would hitch onto a trailer and transport those things. So he was an independent operator. This is really before internet took off, internet-based load boards, where he used to make phone calls to find out if somebody had loads or not. I think that's how he did it. So his why was, this is something that I've always had an interest in doing, and I've got a chance to do it. And he did. He made pretty damn good money while he was doing it. And again, I can't tell you, my doing this has nothing to do with what he's doing. I just find it ironic that I'm doing something akin to what he's doing. We never talked about it. I never brought it up with him. So it's not like I had this interest whatsoever. And then I think about some of the one set of customers that I've delivered to on a somewhat consistent basis in recent months. They're a part of a profession that my mother was in. She retired from. And I have had no fucking interest in doing that whatsoever. I had none when the opportunity came around to me. My sisters are doing it, but not me. Oh, no. Never had the interest. So I find it ironic that I'm doing some of the things that I know that have been tangible to me in some form or fashion through my parents. But again, I don't have a leg to stand on I don't have a leg to stand on to tell you whether your why is right or wrong. But it is interesting that folk always ask you, what is your why in what you're doing? Perhaps that why is what gives you direction. That why is what keeps you on course, on path, and when it gets tough, when it gets rough, when you have days where it's really slow, the why you're reminded of the why, or why you're in this business. And so this segment of the Get Geezer is not a long one. I know that I've had some long formatted ones lately, but this one is a relatively short one. And so while I'm at it, this week's I'm Speaking is a free game. I mentioned last week that I did not have any guests lined up for the weekly conversation, which is on Wednesday nights at 9 o'clock Eastern. This one is a free game, and so I'll have some topics that I'll bring up. I am working on inviting guests to future I'm Speaking live streams, but I've yet to get any confirmations from those people. So the work continues, but I invite you to join the damn conversation this coming Wednesday, 9 o'clock Eastern, and I'll be speaking with you. And while I'm at it, if you like the content that's been provided in this segment of the Get Geezer or in any other segment, hit that subscribe button, give my content a thumbs up, Share my content among others, and I definitely welcome your comments in the section below. I'm in Wood Lane as always. May your grind and may your hustle continue.